Good morning, students. Welcome back to a biology chapter called Ecosystem. Before going to study about the ecosystem, first we are going to know ecology. Ecology is a word derived from it is a word derived from Greek language. Ecology means nothing but study of home. Study of home. Here, home is nothing but environment. Environment. The ecology is defined as study of environment. Study of environment. Ecology is exactly defined as study of living and non-living components in an environment is called as a ecosystem. Study of living or non-living components in an environment in a particular area is called as ecosystem. Odom, a ecologist, defined ecology is the study of interrelationship between organism and environment. Environment. One more scientist called Warming is defined as ecology is a study of organism in relation to their environment. Environment. So, in the ecology are also called as environmental biology. Here we are going to study in this chapter a major concept is called ecosystem. In this ecosystem, we are going to study what is meant by ecosystem, what are the types of ecosystem, then what are the functional components of ecosystem. Then when we are going to select any one example for ecosystem, what is the structure of such ecosystem, then food chain, food web, ecological pyramids, ecological succession, finally nutrient cycle. Nutrient cycle. These are the contents we are going to study in the chapter called ecosystem. Yes, when come to the first one, definition of ecosystem. Ecosystem is defined as a functional unit of nature where biotic and abiotic components interact to maintain continuous flow of energy and cyclic movement of nutrients is called ecosystem. Ecosystem. Ecosystem is also defined as interaction between living and non-living components. Living and non-living components in a given area where the continuous flow of energy has to be maintained dynamic equilibrium. Such is also called as a ecosystem. Very simple definition. One more is there. Ecosystem is a basic functional ecological unit. It consists living and non-living factors in a given area is called as a ecosystem. In an ecosystem, what the living and non-living components are there, both are interact with each other. Both are exchange the some material with each other. Okay. Odom, a ecologist, is defined in his way. Ecosystem is the basic fundamental unit of ecology, which includes both the organisms and non-living environment, each influencing properties of the other, and each is necessary for the maintenance of life. Maintenance of life. Then, the word ecosystem was coined by a scientist called Sir Arthur Translate in 1935. 1935. The best example for the ecosystem is pond is a one type of ecosystem. A river is one type of ecosystem. Desert, desert, forest. These are the best ecosystem. Then, when come to the types of ecosystem, broadly the ecosystems are classified into two types. One is natural ecosystem. Second is anthropogenic ecosystem. First one, natural ecosystem. The ecosystems which are developed naturally without any involvement of man. Such type of ecosystems are called natural ecosystem. Naturally, the ecosystems are able to exist without any influence or without any involvement of man or manpower. Such is called as a natural ecosystem. The natural ecosystem, the natural ecosystem is divided into or classified into two types. One is aquatic ecosystem, another called as a terrestrial ecosystem. What the natural ecosystem we classified aquatic and terrestrial ecosystem. These classifications are based on habitat condition, organism and habitat condition. Habitat means living place. Living place. Yes, when come to the aquatic ecosystem in natural ecosystem. The aquatic ecosystem consists again different types. One is marine ecosystem. Second, freshwater ecosystem. Third, estuarine ecosystem. These are the major example for aquatic ecosystem. When come to the first one, marine water ecosystem. Marine water ecosystem. The ecosystem where the water is the marine water ecosystem. The marine water ecosystem where the water is salt in condition. Salt water. Marine water, that is called as a marine water ecosystem. The marine water ecosystems are largest of all the ecosystems. Best example, sea. See, in sea, we are going to see the water. Aquatic means water. The water is in the condition or in the present in the manner of salt water. Second, freshwater ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystems are small, but the water is fresh in condition. That means a non-salt in condition. The best example for the freshwater ecosystem is again two types. One is lentic ecosystem, another called as a lotic ecosystem. Lentic ecosystem. The ecosystem where the water is stagnant, where the fresh water is stagnant in condition is called as a lentic ecosystem. Example, ponds, pools, lakes. Second, lotic ecosystem. The ecosystem where the water is running in condition, flowing water condition is called as lotic ecosystem. Example, rivers, streams. ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. 1 or 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಲೆಂಟಿಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೋಟಿಕ್. ಲೆಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟರ್, ಲೋಟಿಕ್ flowing or running water. Okay, lentic ecosystem best example ponds and pools, lakes, lotic streams and river. The third one, aquatic ecosystem, is estuarine ecosystem. The ecosystem of water where the fresh water of river joins to the marine water of sea, salt water of sea. The joining place of river water and sea water, fresh water and salt water, these two water where the place they are able to join, such joining place, such joining water is called nothing but the estuarine ecosystem. Okay, then next when come to the a second one, terrestrial ecosystem. Okay, terrestrial ecosystem. Terrestrial means land. The ecosystem where the land is occupied more in amount. Best example, forest, grassland, desert. These are the best example for the a nothing but terrestrial ecosystem. When come to the anthropogenic ecosystem. Anthropogenic ecosystem. Anthropogenic ecosystem means the ecosystems which are developed by involvement of man or man-made ecosystems are called anthropogenic ecosystem or artificial ecosystem. Best example, cropland ecosystem, garden ecosystem, aquarium. Aquarium is also one type of a man-made or anthropogenic ecosystem. Anthropogenic ecosystem. Here one thing I'm going to say is lentic and lotic. Lentic is standing water. Lotic means running or flowing water. Lentic ecosystem and lotic ecosystem togetherly called as limnic ecosystem. Limnic. Limnic ecosystem. Okay, limnic ecosystem. So anthropogenic or man-made or artificial ecosystem. Okay. Then apart from this one, when we move on to the next, components of ecosystem. Which are the components are present in the ecosystem? The components like abiotic components as well as biotic components. Abiotic components, another biotic component. Abiotic components, non-living components like air, soil, water, light, temperature, inorganic and organic nutrients or chemical substances. Then when come to the second components of ecosystem called biotic components. The biotic components, think about the living components. The biotic components like producers, consumers, decomposers. Producers, the best examples are plants, consumers, animals, and decomposers, the best examples are microorganisms. Biotic means bio, living components. Abio, nothing but non-living components. The living and non-living components, when both are interact with each other in a particular place, in particular region, in particular time, is called as an ecosystem. Okay. Almost the biotic components are depend upon abiotic components. In biotic components to abiotic components, then abiotic components to biotic components, some nutrients are able to cycle, able to move, That is called as a nutrient cycles. One thing here, biotic components are depend upon abiotic components. How means plants. Plants prepare their own food by a process called photosynthesis. When the plant prepare their own food by a process called photosynthesis, it requires the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a non-living component, abiotic component. Then the plants able to absorb the water for the normal growth and development. Water is also non-living components. The plants able to rooted under the soil. Soil provide the essential nutrients to the plants. Then soil is a non-living or abiotic component. Likewise, all the biotic components are depend upon abiotic components. Okay. Why we are called as a plant? Why we plants are called? Why the plants are called as a producers? Because plants prepare their own food molecule by a process called photosynthesis. They are not able to depend. They produce the food, so that we are called as a producers. Then animals we call as a consumers, because the animal consume the food from others. The animals which consume, they are depend upon others for the purpose of food, so that we are called as a consumers. In the consumer, there are three types are there: primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. Primary consumers are called as a herbivorous animals. The animals which are directly feed the plants for a source of energy. Such we are called as a primary consumers or herbivorous animals. Best example, zooplanktons, grasshoppers, deer, rabbit, goat, cattle, etc. When come to the secondary consumers, the group of animals which consume the herbivorous animals. The animals which consume the herbivorous animals, such group of animals we call as a secondary consumers. Best example, frogs, birds, goat, frog, birds, fox, cat, lizards, etc. Lastly, a tertiary consumers. Tertiary consumers. The secondary consumers and tertiary consumers, and primary consumers we call as a herbivorous animals. Secondary consumers and tertiary consumers we call as a carnivorous animals, because they eat the animals directly. When it comes to the tertiary consumers, the group of animals which feed the secondary consumers, those we are called as a tertiary consumers. Best example, lion, tiger, owl, vulture, etc. So one thing is concentrated here: primary consumers, plant eating animals we call as a primary animals, plant eating animals. Secondary consumers, the animals which consume the herbivores or primary consumers. Tertiary consumers, the animals which consume the secondary consumers, we are called as tertiary consumers. The last the last group in the biotic components are called as decomposers. Decomposer, best example called as a microorganism. Decomposers are nothing but saprophytic organisms which derive their food by decomposing dead parts of plants and animals. Dead parts of plants and animals. The microorganisms are decomposers. These are the group of organisms. They are able to derive their food by decomposing the dead parts of plants and animals. Best example, saprophytic bacteria, a fungi, soil protozoan, soil mites, etc. etc. This is about the biotic and abiotic components of ecosystem. Let us study. We are going to take an example for ecosystem that is called as a pond ecosystem. In the pond ecosystem, we are going to study the structure of pond ecosystem. Structure of pond ecosystem. Okay. Now, the structure of pond ecosystem. When come to the structure, a pond ecosystem is a shallow water body. It is an example for freshwater lentic ecosystem. The pond ecosystem consists of both biotic and abiotic factors of biotic and abiotic components of environment. When come to the abiotic components, the non-living environmental factors together constitute the abiotic components of the ecosystem. Those are pH of water, dissolved organic and inorganic substances, dissolved gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide, light, temperature and soil. These are the abiotic factors. Biotic components or biotic factors are all the living organisms constitute the biotic components. The biotic components like plants, animals and then decomposers like microorganisms. In the pond ecosystem, the structure of pond ecosystem, when come to that, so in that the biotic components, which are the plants are able to lead a life in a pond, which are the animals or lead a life in a pond, which are the decomposers. First, when come to the producers. In the pond ecosystem, the green plants synthesize their organic food by photosynthesis, okay, and prepare their food and produce the energy. In the pond ecosystem, the producers plants like phytoplanktons, algae, hydrophytes like hydrilla, lotus, lily, acornia, pistia. These are the plants able to occupy in pond ecosystem as a producers prepare their food by a process called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Then, when come to the consumers. So, here consumers are heterotrophic animals. Consume the organic food from green plants directly or indirectly for the source of energy. The consumers are divided in the pond ecosystem are again three types: primary, secondary and tertiary consumers. The primary consumers, they were the herbivorous animals. In the pond ecosystem, the primary consumers are zooplanktons, mosquito larvae, water flies, tadpole larvae of frog, then small fishes. These are the primary consumer, directly feed the plants. Okay, then Elton, Elton called the primary consumer as a key industry animals. Key industry animals. Elton, a scientist, called the primary consumers as key industry animals because they convert the plant material into animal material. When come to the second called secondary consumers, these are the carnivores, primary carnivores animals. They feed the primary consumers for the source of energy. Best example, in the pond ecosystem, the secondary consumers are a frog, large fishes, water bugs, water beetles, crab, etc. Then the third one, tertiary consumers. Tertiary consumers. The tertiary consumers, the animals are the carnivorous animal consume the secondary consumer for the source of energy is called as a tertiary consumers. The pond ecosystem, the tertiary consumers are water snakes, aquatic birds like heron, duck, etc. The final group of abiotic components in pond ecosystems are decomposers, saprophytic organism. The decomposer, nothing but the organism which decompose the dead and decaying organic material of plants or animals. Best example, saprophytic bacteria and fungi. So this is about the a structure of pond ecosystem, in that biotic and abiotic components. Biotic and abiotic components. Next, when come to the a next one, the interaction of biotic and abiotic component results in physical structure that is the characteristics of each type of ecosystem. So any ecosystem, whether the pond ecosystem or any ecosystem, the result is the interaction of biotic and abiotic components that gives the physical structure, and that is the main characters of each and every ecosystem. Then second, this is the first significance of the any ecosystem. Second significance is identification and description of plants and animal species of an ecosystem gives its species composition. So second significance is the species composition. So in a particular area, what the living organisms are there, that such living organisms we are going to identify, and then we are going to describe which group of animal, which group of plant, whether it is autotroph, heterotroph, or decomposers or producers, etc. This gives us species composition, how many numbers are there. The third significance is nothing but the vertical distribution of different species occupying different level is called stratification. Vertically, how many different type of species occurred or occupy the different level, that is called as a stratification. These are the three major significance of any ecosystem. Then next topic is functional components of ecosystem. ಈ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ಮೂರು ಸಿಗ್ನಿಫಿಕೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನೋ ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೇನೆ 3 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸಿಗೆ. ಸಿಗ್ನಿಫಿಕೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನಿ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಈಸ್ 1. ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಏಬಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಮೇನ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ecosystem. Second is the species composition. ಒಂದು ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಯಾವ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಪೀಸೀಸ್ ಇದಾವೋ ಆ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಪೀಸೀಸು ಎಷ್ಟು ನಂಬರ್ ಇದೆಯೋ ಆ ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಈ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಯಾವ ಸ್ಪೀಸೀಸು ಯಾವ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾವೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಲೆವೆಲ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ದಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಈಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಬೈ ದಿಸ್ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. So finally, next functional components of ecosystem. The functional components, there are 4 functions are there. One is the productivity, second decomposition, third energy flow, lastly nutrient cycle. So the functional components, what the nutrient cycle, decomposition, energy flow, productivity is there. All these functional components we are going to study next class. Thank you.